Hello and welcome to this edition of To Talk. I'm your host, Bob Ott, and we've taken the show on the road this month, and I'm here at Hyde Farm in scenic East Cobb, and joining me this afternoon is Rusty Simpson, Resource Manager for the park system, and a lot of history here at Hyde Farm.
A lot of history here. It's a very significant piece of history for Cobb County. And the very special thing about it is from the 1830s to around 2004, this was a family-operated working farm.
It was the two Hyde brothers, right?
There were two Hyde brothers that the Hyde family got in the 20s. Until then, from 1830s to about 1920, the Power family operated the farm. The Hydes, during that period, would come through and sharecrop with them, and were eventually able to buy the farm from the Power family.
Now, one of the things that they grew here was the sweet potato.
Yes, sir. They became very well known for their sweet potatoes. It's a golden nugget variety. They farmed many other things up until the whole time they were here. They started farming cotton, and as the cotton started waning, they switched to produce. There were two brothers, as you mentioned, that were truck farmers. They would haul their materials to local farmers markets. One brother went to Roswell, one went to Marietta, and they had their own customers that they were serving.
Now it's the whole Hyde Farm was about, what, 135 acres, I think?
It originally was about 135. Around 2008, the Trust for Public Land purchased the farm, and then the county and the National Park Service bought 95 acres that the Trust for Public Land
Right, so there's a great partnership between the National Park Service and the county.
Yes, sir.
To kind of maintain the farm.
Yes, sir. It's been a great partnership. We're doing some education programs together. We're doing some work together along with some folks from UGA in their cultural landscape lab that they've created to study the farm.
Right, now they've come out here and done a lot of the historical research for the county.
Yes, sir.
You know, we have the older buildings here.
Yes, sir.
Which the county is getting ready to fix up, but we'll talk about that a little while. So why don't you tell folks a little bit about the homestead?
Well, the homestead, the original log pen was a single room cabin that had a loft, living space above it. The Power family built that. The Hyde family, again, around 1920s when they had purchased it, they added on a couple of additions. The addition that you can see behind me here is the kitchen, and there's a family room attached to that. Those have been around for quite some time, and that's...
Now, for some of the folks that are not quite familiar with some of the buildings that you might have on a farm here in Cobb County, so for example, we've got a bunch of different structures here. What are some of the things we're looking at?
Well, what we're seeing to our immediate right is what the Hyde family called their truck shelter. That's where they would keep their truck or their tractor, as well as some storage beside it. Most everything was used for storage. One of the buildings they called their gear shed, the other was a tool shed. To my left is what they referred to as their old corn crib, which is where they would harvest. When they harvested their corn, they would put it in there to dry and to cure. And
now they did raise chickens too, right?
They did have chickens. At one time they raised chickens and sold the eggs. So they did sell some produce in different markets around the area.
Now, one of the other things that you know, folks can see when you first enter into the farm area is the terrace gardens.
Yes.
Which was kind of unique also, was it not?
It's unique to the 1930s, 1940s when the farmers around the area. It's very typical for farmers in that area, in this area, in that time, but it is unique to see them that they still are intact.
And why would the reason to have terrace fields instead of, say, for example, the ones over here, which are more your traditional type field?
The terraces that the Hydes built were mainly all for drainage.
Okay.
So it helped keep the water running in the direction they wanted it to run. One of the famous quotes that the Hyde family had was they wanted the water to walk, not run.
Well, speaking of water, when you first enter on the other side of the homestead, is the well still works.
It is a
still
working
has
well.
The bucket and the water comes up.
It's fascinating to show the kids when we bring some school groups out here, but it is a working well. It was hand dug, 35 to 40 feet, but it does produce some very good tasting cold water.
Yeah, actually the water does taste very, very good. So, What are some of the other buildings that are on here? You know, we've got the barn kind of right here in front of us.
We have a barn that we're looking at that was one of the original structures. Most of the smaller structures the Hydes built when they took over the farm.
So this is one built by the Power
This was
family.
one that was, the Hydes added on a piece or two here and there, but it was constructed by the Power family.
And what would they use that barn for?
Again, they would use that for when they harvested their produce. They would bring that in there to dry. They also used it to keep their animals. They might have a cow or two at any time. The Hydes particularly farmed with mules.
Well, yeah, they had a mule, right?
They did have at least one mule.
That I think that one was kind of the one that everybody knew about in the area,
Everybody knew
right?
Nell.
Yep, Nell the mule. Okay.
So they swore by farming with a mule. They thought that was easier to manipulate than a tractor, but they did use tractors as they grew older.
Okay. Well, let's we'll walk around a little bit behind the barn, but before we do that, let's go back to the studio and see what's kind of on the community calendar.
Okay.
The regular meetings of the Cobb County Commission for April are Tuesday, April 8th at 9 a.m., Tuesday, April 22nd at 7 p.m. in the Board of Commissioners meeting room in Marietta. A Rain Gardens Workday will be held on Thursdays, April 3rd, 10th, and 24th at the Cobb County Water Quality Lab. That's from 9 until 11 a.m. Participants learn about rain gardens and how to maintain them. Additional information can be found online at the Cobb Watershed website. A public education program on senior housing options happens Tuesday, April 8th at 7 p.m. at the Senior Wellness Center. This is part of the series titled Aging by Design, sponsored by the Cobb Department of Senior Services. The session is free and open to the public. Attendance reservations may be called in or emailed in. The Gardener's Night Out program happens Tuesday, April 8th from 7 until 8 p.m. at the Mountain View Regional Library. This is part of the Gardener's Night Out series. The program is titled Organics in the Vegetable Garden. The program is presented by Amy Whitney of the Cobb office of the Georgia Cooperative Extension Service. The Great American Cleanup Recycling event happens Saturday, April 12th from 9 a.m. till 1 p.m. at Lassiter High School. This is a comprehensive recycling event accepting a variety of materials for recycling. There are limitations on items accepted, and some items require payment of a per-item recycling charge. For details, contact the Keep Cobb Beautiful office or visit the Keep Cobb Beautiful website. Hightower Trail Middle School hosts a candidates forum on Thursday, April 17th at 6:30 p.m. The forum is sponsored by the Pope Cluster PTAs, foundations, and school councils. It includes candidates seeking office on the Cobb County School Board and other elected positions. A chemical monitoring workshop under the Adopt a Stream program is happening on Thursday, April 17th from 6 to 8 p.m. at the Cobb County Water Quality Lab. It is open to citizens interested in monthly monitoring of chemical levels in local streams. For additional information or to RSVP for the workshop, call 770-528-1482. The annual Cobb Community Egg Hunt happens on Saturday, April 19th from 10 a.m. to 2 p.m. at Jim R. Miller Park. This annual event is free, open to the public, and packed with activities especially for children. For details on the day's schedule, contact the Cobb Department of Recreation or visit the Miller Park website.
Okay, welcome back. Joining me now is Eddie Cannon, Director of the Parks. And so Eddie, behind us here is kind of what people would expect to see when you talk about an old farm. But over here to our side is not at all what people would expect to see, is it?
It is not. It is not. Luckily, the county in 2011 got some SPLOST dollars, and we've got some money that will go towards fixing all our structures up here at Hyde Farm.
Well, tell folks a little bit about, I mean, you know, these straps are literally holding this building up, aren't they?
It is. We came in when we first bought the farm and had engineered a system where the buildings would just not fall down. And our staff actually came in, put straps on the buildings to keep them up until we could get them renovated.
Right, and the whole reason for us wanting to renovate them, of course, you know, we're going to fix up the barn behind us, but also it's all these new programs that we're going to bring on board for the community in these renovated buildings, right?
It's actually going to be a working farm again. That's where we're headed, and it's going to be a working farm plus an educational type farm where we can bring school groups out, the community out to see how the Hyde brothers actually farmed on this property.
So some of the fields that would be used was the terrace gardens that we talked about before.
Yes.
And then over here, we've got scupperdine vines.
We do.
And
Exactly.
behind that are some more fields.
Exactly, there is. And what we're planning on doing is being able to have a working farm to be able to sell some produce off of here, plus be able to teach folks how to grow different stuff and how actually the Hydes made a living out here farming.
Right, and I know the folks met Rusty earlier in the show, and Rusty's been keeping that Hyde sweet potato going.
He has. We plant those in the greenhouse and keep those going each year, and then he brings them out in the late spring, puts them in the ground, and we actually are able to harvest some each year.
And that's one of the gardens that folks see when they first walk in here.
Exactly.
You know, you have the terrace gardens on one side, and then you have Rusty's garden where he grows the sweet potatoes.
Exactly. Rusty and his group with the Environmental Education Unit, along with the National Park Service, do programs all summer long. They bring camps out here, school groups out here, and so they have a garden to be able to show them and teach them how garden is done and where the vegetables come from.
Well, speaking of programs, let's walk over to the Welcome Center, and we'll show folks some other facilities that are not actually part of the physical Hyde Farm, but that the county purchased at the same time to give us the facility space to have programs for the kids.
That'll be great.
So let's go check that out.
Right.
But while we're heading over there, we'll go back to the community calendar, and we'll give you some more updates on what's going on around the community. We'll be right back.
The deadline for voter registration for the May 20th primary election is Monday, April 21st. For information on registering to vote, go to the Cobb Board of Elections and Registration Department website or call the elections office. A panel discussion on personal safety in the home and community happens on Thursday, April 24th at 7 p.m. in the Commissioner's Meeting Room. This program is organized by the Cobb County Neighborhood Safety Committee. The panelists will address a range of personal safety situations and will be moderated by Kim McCoy of the Cobb District Attorney's Office. Questions for the panel can be submitted early by email or phone. Friday, April 25th from 7 to 9 p.m., it's Canvas and Cocktails at the Mabel House Art Center. This is an upbeat, creative class to learn the basics of acrylic painting. Registration is required and there is a charge. Details are available by phone or on the Mabel House Arts Center website. Medication Disposal Day, sponsored by Keep Cobb Beautiful, happens on Saturday, April 26th from 10 a.m. to 2 p.m. at the Cobb Fire and Police Station in Kennesaw. Cobb residents may turn in unwanted or expired over-the-counter or prescription medications for recycling. For more information, contact the Keep Cobb Beautiful offices by phone or email. The Encore Series presents The Lennon Sisters on Sunday, April 27th at 3 p.m. at the Anderson Theater at Cobb County Civic Center. This singing family has a star on the Hollywood Walk of Fame, and they bring their music to the Anderson Theater. For ticket information, contact the box office of the Civic Center. And an Aging by Design Summit takes place on Monday, April 28th from 8:30 a.m. to 3:30 p.m. at the Galleria Center. The aim of the summit is to create awareness and community action to aid Cobb County in addressing the issues related to older adults. Registration is required to attend. For more information, contact the Cobb Senior Services by phone or email. On Monday, April 28th, advanced voting begins for the May 20th primary election. This happens at various locations throughout Cobb County. To view the locations and hours for the advanced voting, go online to the Cobb Elections and Registration Department website. Outdoor burning is allowed in the county through April 30th. Burning is allowed for leaves, pine straw, and small limbs. Burning for land clearing purposes still requires a permit. For additional information on outdoor burning regulations, go online to the Cobb Fire Marshal's webpage.
Welcome back. Joined again by Eddie Cannon, Director of Parks. And so far we've taken you around Hyde Farm, and what we've done now is step just off the Hyde property, and we're on the other land that the county purchased, and we're here at the Welcome Center, which the county uses for kind of the programs that we offer.
We do. We use this for educational purposes. When we bought this property, it was someone's home. We came in and renovated it, made it ADA accessible, put a nice big deck on the back of it, and it sits in a great atmosphere to be able to do educational programs.
Now, some of those educational programs, I know that we've had art classes out here. What are some of the other things that we do?
Yeah, during the summer we have art camp here. We also have outdoor environmental education camp here, and then we also do camps or classes all year long that just talk about the farm and what's done on the farm and the ecosystem around the farm and down on the river. So it's a great place to do educational type sessions for our kids and everybody in the community. There's also a lot of rentals that go on here. They do some things that they will do midnight walks, moonlight walks. They're actually going to do stargazing here. So there's a lot of things a lot of programs that are offered through the Parks and Recreation Department and the National Park Service here at Hyde Farm.
Well, and one of the things that I think folks would notice when they drive in here, of course, it's off of Hyde Road, which is just a 2-lane road. And one of the things that your folks, and along with DOT, really spend a lot of time is that when you drive up here, it doesn't look, the parking, it's not paved parking, and there's bus parking actually that's up there that's kind of hidden. And so we really kind of want folks when they first drive up to kind of start experiencing the whole Hyde Farm.
Exactly. You're being modest. The commissioner wanted to make sure that when you walked up here, you just didn't have a piece of asphalt that you were going to park on. So we actually, park staff along with DOT staff, took a trip to Callaway Gardens and watched how they did parking throughout the whole park there at Callaway, and we brought that idea back here. So you'll see when you pull up to Hyde Farm, you park in the trees, you'll park in different places. We made an area for buses to be able to download and then move across the street and be able to park. So it's just a different atmosphere where there's trees right in the middle of parking and you feel comfortable like you're out in the woods.
Well, thanks, Eddie. And so now we've talked. Rusty kind of gave folks a little bit of the history behind the Hyde Farm, and you and I have talked about what the county is getting ready to do with the buildings and some of the programs. What kind of timeline can the folks look at, for all these things to be done, so that they can kind of come and enjoy, more of what they saw today? Yeah,
we're excited because we're now at the stage where we're going to start some renovation. And then building what we need for the future here. So hopefully by the end of April, we will have a contractor on board that will actually already start renovations of the buildings out at the Hyde Farm stead. And then hopefully between Thanksgiving and Christmas, we will be done with that renovation. We will also start, while that's going on, we'll start some renovation of the fields and get them ready for next spring planting. And then move on outside the gates and start some renovation on some of our other buildings to get it prepared to be a working farm in the future.
Now, one of the things, we use the word renovations, but it's really, in a lot of ways, it's a restoration.
It is a restoration.
Because I know that
yes.
your folks are out there looking for other structures that have similar age and wood and style, because we don't want to change the character of what's out here.
No, we want to do it the way the Hydes did it. So we're going to bring the farm back just like they had it when they left here. That's our objective. So people will understand how they did things then, and we're going to work really hard to make that happen.
Okay, so if folks want to find out more about Hyde Farm, I'm sure that they can go to the Parks website.
They sure can. You can go to the Parks website, and we have really all our SPLOST programs throughout the county are listed on the SPLOST site, and it actually gives an update on a weekly basis.
All right, well, thanks for joining us, Eddie, and we hope you all enjoyed the show, and we'll see you next time.
Cobb County Safety Village is the most comprehensive safety training environment in the region. Located in central Cobb County, the Safety Village aims to provide the highest quality of safety education available. Primarily designed for elementary-age school children, the Safety Village provides hands-on life safety training. Education is the key to reducing risk and protecting our community and its residents, and the Cobb County Safety Village is the first in Georgia to offer this kind of learning experience. On the 8-acre site is a large multi-use education building which includes classrooms, a cafeteria, offices for employees, and an auditorium made to look like the historic Strand Theater in Marietta. There is also a station for inspecting car seat installation, a free service provided to the residents of the county by Safe Kids of Cobb County, which includes 3 mechanics bays that provide shelter from the elements as well as heat during the winter months, as opposed to before when seat checks were done outside. After walking through the reception area, visitors are greeted with what looks like a small house. This is known as Sparky's house. In the hallway, which is made to look like a street, there's a replica of a telephone booth and a small tree. Sparky's house actually consists of a living room, bedroom, and kitchen, creating an incredibly memorable learning experience that mimics some life-threatening situations that children may face in their own homes. The front door of the house opens to what looks like a regular home on the inside. In Sparky's living room, children are taught about the 3 elements of fire, shown what objects around the house are more subject to catching on fire, and then the home fills with smoke from machines and steam heats the doorknob at the exit. Children must then maneuver, crawling across the floor to keep away from the smoke, and feel the door with the back of their hands to see if there is fire on the other side. The children then open the door and crawl outside to safety. When they are in Sparky's bedroom and the room fills with smoke, the children must then climb out the window with a safety ladder and meet up at the family's arranged meeting spot, the tree outside of the house. After these lessons, children participate in a simulated 911 call, complete with a live operator answering at the other end. Children are also given classes from police officers regarding topics ranging from what to do if approached by a stranger, what to do when you're home alone and hear a knock at the door, and what to do if they find a gun in the house. Interaction and participation by the children is highly encouraged and also provides for a better learning experience. The Safety Village's goal is exactly this: teach children in a unique and unforgettable way and make it as interactive as possible, but do so in a manner that is controlled, supervised, and above all, safe for the students. The David Hankerson Education Building is only the first part of the children's experience. The Safety Village itself is a working village. The land has been paved like a small neighborhood and designed to look just like that, only on a reduced scale. The Safety Village is a child-sized representation of our county, complete with real trees, scaled-down operative buildings with signage, small street signs and traffic lights, and even model homes. Site elements used throughout the village reference those found around the Marietta Square to help give the scene a recognizable and authentic look. The site features 4 distinct areas, which are the Marietta Square, a commercial district, a residential district, and an industrial district. Since it has opened, the Cobb County Safety Village has improved the fire department's efficiency in training students by 200%. Twice as many students have been able to take part in this safety training than last year before the Safety Village opened. It is easier and requires less manpower to have a centralized location, which helps to reduce scheduling conflicts. Before, when 2nd and 4th graders participated in their state-mandated fire safety program, a fire truck with a trailer housing a far less advanced scenario similar to Sparky's house would have to travel out to each school individually and could only handle one small group of students at a time. The Cobb County Safety Village allowed them to build a more complex scenario, which teaches the children more effectively, and they have room for multiple classes at one time. Children will benefit greatly from the knowledge that they will encounter through observation and participation. Learning is essential to a child's mind, and taking part in the process is crucial. The philosophy is simple: tell me and I will forget, show me and I may remember, involve me and I will understand.
Each year, our children are put at risk by drivers who ignore bus stop arms and warning lights. In Cobb County alone, more than 1,000 drivers ignore them every day. The Cobb Police Department and Cobb Schools have partnered with Operation Stop Arm to educate drivers about the new law to save lives.
Tragically, a young child was killed at a bus stop by a passing car in 2009.
While we were being interviewed by the news crew, a driver ran through the stop arm of the bus.
We had just installed new stop arm cameras on some of our buses and were able to hand the photo over to law enforcement. And now, with the new law, hopefully we will reduce violations of the stop arm law and have additional evidence to cite violators.
Drivers who pass a school bus with a stop arm activated can receive up to a $1,000 fine from the court and get 6 points tacked onto their driver's history. It is a serious offense.
So next time you're in a hurry and you're tempted to pass a stopped school bus,
Welcome home, man.
Today is Saturday. Today is Saturday. Salad on Saturday, fruit on Friday, throw a ball Thursday. Water Wednesday, touch your toes Tuesday. Let's move Monday, sparkle snacks Sunday. All the healthy children eat well and move a lot. And move a lot. And move a lot. Eat well and move a lot.
60 minutes of physical activity a day and eating well can help get your child healthy. So keep them active and eating well every day.
Skip a rope Saturday, freeze tag Friday, tap dance Thursday. Whole grains Wednesday, try a veggie Tuesday. Let's move Monday, split the sweet Sunday.
Eat well and move a lot.
Today is Saturday. Today is Saturday.
All the healthy children, all the healthy children. Get ideas. Get involved. Get going at letsmove.gov. That's letsmove.gov.